Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
That moves us on to public hearing number 3, which is a planning board public hearing for the site plan with variances known as the Islamic Center of Mastic-Shirley, located on the northwest corner of William Floyd Parkway and Tudor Road in Shirley. And we have Don Holm from our planning department to discuss this application.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an 87,500 square foot parcel that is zoned residential. They are seeking to develop the entire property with a mosque as well as a substantial amount of parking. I'd like to note that they are required to have 87 stalls and they're providing 124. Hopefully that will be sufficient. They have worked extensively with our department in order to get this site plan to a point where we can have this hearing. So I commend their representatives in doing so. We have some variances that revolve around landscaping. Those are necessitated in order to provide the amount of parking they are, and we're hopefully happy to grant those variances so that they can have the parking that they need. Other than that, I don't have much to offer. I'd love to answer any questions that anybody has.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hone. Do any of my colleagues have any questions about the application for our planning director? All right, welcome back, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good afternoon again, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. Larry Davis, 175 Oak Street, Patchogue, New York, for the applicant.
Larry, just before you start, is anybody else going to speak up? I'll just swear them in real fast.
Yes, I believe we're going to have a few more.
Please raise your right hand, Will. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. All right, sorry, Larry.
That's quite all right. I was going to introduce you to Madad Islam. He is the imam of the mosque, and Tahir Qureshi, who is the engineer on behalf of the mosque here today. So, as Mr. Holm pointed out, we're here asking for approval for the mosque. As you probably know, they're located right now on the other side of William Floyd Parkway and are in need of a new home. And here we are before you asking that this board grant us the ability to build a new home for this mosque. As Mr. Hone indicated, we have ample parking, which is kind of rare, but we're very happy to provide that for everybody. I would like to submit, I have a letter of support from one of the neighbors that are directly behind the mosque, so if I could submit this as a letter of support.
When you're done speaking, just hand it to our
no problem. And I know we have some speakers, so I'm going to be brief. I'm going to ask Mr. Qureshi to just hit some of the salient points, and then we can move on to the public, unless the board has any questions for us. Sure.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Madad Islam. It is an honor to stand before you today as we take another important step in bringing the Islamic Center of Mastic-Shirley to life. As a lead volunteer in this project, this journey has been nothing short of incredible, working alongside engineers, attorneys, community organizations, and most importantly, the dedicated town officials and staff who have ensured that this process remains fair, transparent, and respectful for all. I'm truly grateful to be a part of a town where every voice is heard, and where our leadership, especially the 6th District Councilwoman Karen Dunn-Kensig and Town Supervisor Dan Panico, are committed to delivering fair and thoughtful solutions that benefit the entire community. This project is not just about constructing a building, it is about strengthening our community, fostering unity, and providing a space for spiritual growth, education, and service. I urge the town board to grant us the necessary variances so that we can move forward in making this vision a reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madad. And we've spoken many times. I visited the mosque across the way, the existing mosque. And I have to say, one of the components, and always the manner in which you conduct yourself as a gentleman and a person who's open to all thoughts and all people, always impressed me very much. And the inclusion, well, I'm sure you have to raise quite a bit of money for this endeavor, as we spoke about, the gymnasium to be open to the community beyond those who may only be of Muslim faith, it to me is a testament to the goodwill and the actions that follow your words in bringing the community together. And I know that I'm sure every religion, as people are struggling with the high cost of everything, the cost of living, the enrollment at every house of worship is having troubles. And the fact that you're reaching out to bring younger people in and offering something attractive, I've heard from people in the community, is quite a point of outreach that people appreciate. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I want to add to that I don't know if you're aware, but Supervisor Panico is an avid basketball player. So we will certainly be seeing him at this recreation center playing basketball, and thank you for your kind words.
Who's currently totally out of shape. I look at myself when I first got elected, sworn in, to now. I have some work to do. So maybe I'll see you in the gymnasium.
Some of us handle stress differently.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor, members of the town board, and staff. My name is Tahir Qureshi with office at 27 Casey Lane, Mount Sinai, New York, 11766. I am providing engineering and architectural services for this project on pro bono basis. The applicant seeks an approval from the town board for a site plan in A1 residential zone property and Islamic Center for local community. The location of this 2-acre property is on the west side of William Floyd Parkway and north of Tudors Road in Shirley. Surrounding area is mixed use area. On the north side there is a commercial use property. On the west side there are residential houses. This proposed project received variances for the 6-foot fence and 15-foot high sign from BZA at a hearing on February 21st, 2024. The proposed site plan provides 2 driveways to get ingress and egress and 124 parking stalls, more than what is required as per town code. The proposed building is 100 feet by 110 feet, a large footprint to provide an indoor high school size basketball court. The basketball court starts at basement level and it's about 3 floors height for the basketball court. Since it's a public assembly place, a special attention was paid for the public safety and to provide various egress points. In addition to basketball court, there will be spaces for prayer, library, office, elevator, and toilets inside. The project cost is approximately $5 million. That is our application. We thank the planning staff for their extensive attention to this project. We stand ready to answer any questions, and we respectfully request the town board for approval.
Thank you, Tahir. And just because I follow some of the comments in the community, some people had apprehension that the basketball gymnasium would be converted into prayer area, which would require a lot more parking if it was included in the overall plan. Can you speak to that, or perhaps Medad, that it can never be converted without coming back to this board? If you wouldn't mind commenting on that, I think that would be great.
Yes, the basketball actually begins, it starts at the basement level, and the prayer hall or the main prayer area is on the first floor. So there is really no physical connection between those 2 spaces.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? All right, then I think we will go to the cards.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Have a seat. We'll bring some people up to speak now. First speaker we have is Jilam Sarwar, Clara Rufo Sakazo. Sorry if I messed up the name. Nancy Slane, and Morris Barry. Those will be our first 4 speakers. More to come up. You'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Sarwar, you will lead us off.
My name is Ghulam Sarwar, and give and take, I live in a more than 35-year town of Brookhaven, and we see that there used to be 20-30 years ago that very small Muslim community in the Long Island, Suffolk County, and especially Brookhaven. We have only 20 years ago 1 mosque in Brookhaven, and Alhamdulillah, now we have more than 10 mosques in the town of Brookhaven, and we have now more than 50,000 population, and very fast growing that town of Brookhaven. We have right now more than 50,000 population, and Suffolk County we have over 100,000 population. Because they come to town of Brookhaven, Montauk to Queen and Brooklyn, because the Muslim community and minority community appreciate leadership town of Brookhaven, good, friendly and environment, good education, clean road and less crime. That's the reason, better education, that is and better business opportunity. That's the reason people like to the most favorite place, town of Brookhaven. And Muslim community is the mostly educated and the mostly first our priority to our kids go to that college and university, they can come to doctor, engineer, and second, we like to, they can also provide a service in a community and the town of Brookhaven and Suffolk County. They have already mosque, but that is very small and they need only this, because this is not only Islamic Center, this is also community center. The all neighborhood, we believe to that respect to other religion, Christian and also Jewish people. And the kids all come to there, they can play basketball and they can reach friendship with other community and other religion. And we believe freedom of speech and freedom of religion. That's the reason this is the best place we start, and this is the good for community, and this is not only religion place, this is community center. And I request to board that they can approve, and this is good for community, good for town, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Next week, Clara. Pull that close up there so we can hear you.
Oh, you'll hear me.
Okay, all right.
Good afternoon. First, I know that there was some back and forth on some of the posts on social media, and obviously you can see that those people that were saying derogatory things are cowards because they're not here today. So I apologize on their behalf for the words that they had spewed all over social media. That being said, I'm here today because this matter, I feel, should not be at the stage that it is. Not because I'm opposed to one's religious freedoms, but because from the very beginning, the size of the land purchase did not accommodate their needs. Beyond the concerns of adding over 100 or so plus cars to already congested roads like William Floyd, Heston, and Tudor, which are at their breaking point, I worry about the hazards these additional cars will pose to walkers, joggers, bikers, and children in the area. Now, my main concern is I attended the ZBA hearing of February 21st, 2024, in which a rear yard setback of 34 feet was granted, not 25. So I'm curious as to why the site plan still shows 25 feet. It seems to me like the rear yard is now being considered the side yard, and I was assured at that meeting from Mr. Bergson that it was not going to be considered a side yard, it was considered a rear yard, so there should be 34 feet buffer from the residents that back up to the mosque. There was some ZBA members had given the architect some helpful suggestions on how to maybe adjust the size so it would accommodate the new square footage with that 34-foot setback. I don't know why it still says 25 feet when it should be 34. Currently, I'm unaware of any residential neighborhood running parallel to William Floyd Parkway where the residents view a two-story concrete building in their backyard. The site plan, again, varies from what was originally given at the ZBA, and I know things change and so on and so forth, but now it seems that Tudor is being considered the front yard, and William Floyd is being considered the side yard or the secondary entrance. In closing, this is very short. I read this project will take 2 years to complete. I am concerned whether or not this will be true, being that they rely on donations. It costs $5 million, and I read that there's only $500,000 raised. Their website is currently looking for $1 million in donations to complete phase one. It's a big. Can I just finish? It's only
Yeah, just give your, now in planning board, but more, it's three, planning board. You can finish up, ma'am. Just give you a couple extra seconds.
I'm concerned about this winding up to be a several years of construction. Case in point is the Islamic Center of Mastic-Shirley, which is right around the corner from the town on 15 Lee Lane. On their Facebook page, reflecting on their 7 years of progress, which was from January 2018 to January of 2025, they are still seeking donations to complete their project. On February 3rd of 2025 at 1:39 p.m., I took pictures of the mosque, and it looks like an abandoned building, debris.
Okay.
So I want to know what guarantees this town board is going to give the residents that we're not looking at a 7-year project.
Okay. All right. Ma'am, if you have any other comments that you want to submit that you have in writing, you can just give it to the clerk's office and we can pass it around. So, our next speaker is Nancy.
Hello. My name is Nancy Slane, and I've been in Brookhaven Town. I've lived here most of my life. My family bought the house on 71 Heston Road, which is the corner house on Heston and Tudor. I've been here many, many years, and my concern is that there is not enough parking and that they are going to be using Tudor as runoff for their parking, which is my property on the side of my house. And not only that, because I live here so long, I've noticed that William Floyd Parkway is horrendous. The traffic both ways is unbelievable. It takes from Surrey Circle to William Floyd to Sunrise Highway. Sometimes it takes 20 to 25 minutes to get from one place to another, and now you're going to add all these other cars and everything else, and where are they going to park? Where are they going to drive? You know, people are now also using Heston Road as a runoff because William Floyd Parkway is so jam-packed. Between the railroad and the train and the way they have the traffic on William Floyd, it's horrendous, you know. And now we're going to be adding more traffic, and I'm just very concerned.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Maura?
Okay, thank
Been
you.
a while. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see everybody. I want to thank the board for us being able to come here and do a public comment. And I am here to support the mosque. One of the things that, as this woman said here, is that it's disturbing to kind of hear some of the chatter that's out there. And in some of it I was like, well, maybe I didn't pay attention enough in school when they were teaching the Constitution, and I've always said that I basically got most of my education by 6th grade. Turns out I'm right. 50% of adult Americans have a 6th grade reading level, and 24% have a 5th grade. So I thought I'd go to the library and take out grammar school and 7th grade editions of the Constitution, because when it's in, it's kind of fancier language from when it was originally written. The First Amendment says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That's how it was written. In this 7th grade book, they go and they kind of put it in simpler English, where Congress may not make laws that establish an official religion in the United States or prevent believers from freely practicing their religion. Congress may not limit free speech or a free press. And I would say to all the people out there that are on Facebook and other social media and speaking, I respect your right to be wrong, and I respect your right to basically speak about the Constitution in a derogatory manner, and that's your right because of this amazing, amazing Constitution. And I think it's important for people to understand when we go to the grammar school book, it says the First Amendment freedoms. The First Amendment guarantees freedoms of religion, speech, and the press. It also gives people the rights to assemble and peacefully and to complain directly to the government. So if they do have a problem with it, they should come up here and not be cowards and hide behind the internet and everything else, if that's how you really feel. But unfortunately, I would say fortunately for us, you on our board are standing up for the Constitution. You are standing up for the rights of the mosque to have a place to be able to worship. I think there are definitely issues. It's why we have a planning board. It's why we have a zoning board. But I don't think that we should be looking at this as a reason because of their religion. And I will just say, as Dan knows and you guys know, there is a solution to the traffic, and it's called another railroad crossing. And so we need to continue that fight with the MTA and get us another railroad crossing in the peninsula. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you all. Thank you all for your comments.
And the questions that are raised will be answered by the applicant, and questions between the town board and the planning director that you both of you have raised.
And our next three speakers, we'll have to get back to you. The next three speakers that we have is Mohammed Rayan Omar, Sharel Bahati, and Imam Abdul Latif Apoulos. Take your time coming up. Before you start, so raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Mohammed, you will be the first one. Just make sure you pull that mic up so we can hear.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Muhammad Rayan Omer, and I would like to thank everyone in this room for allowing me to speak on behalf of the youth of our community. I would like to start by saying how blessed I am to be a resident of Suffolk County, especially in the town of Brookhaven, where I am lucky to have amazing neighbors, parks, many libraries, and an amazing school with great teachers and much more. I live on 8 Merrick Road, Shirley, and I attend William Floyd High School in 9th grade. I work very hard. With the help of the community, as well as the Islamic Center of Mastic-Shirley, I am able to take all honors classes as well as AP classes in the future. The Islamic Center has also helped kids like me get community service hours as well as give back to the community. I am very proud to be chosen to stand in this building today, where I know that everyone in this building works very hard to make our town better. The Islamic Center is why we are here today. As I mentioned before, this town and the community we have built has supported me in every way. When I say me, I am speaking about all of the youth. The town of Brookhaven and the Islamic Center have always supported us. Ever since I moved here when I was 7 years old, I have watched my father, my grandfather, and even my great-grandfather work very hard towards the Islamic Center, which is now about 23 years old. The Islamic Center plays a huge role in my life. Not only has it helped make me successful in school, it has taught me the most important values of life. It has shaped me into the person I am today. My siblings and I visit the Islamic Center daily to learn about our religion. It has become a place where we can be safe and unjudged. I have always dreamed for the Islamic Center to be established in a bigger and better building. It can become a place where we could give back better to our community. With a basketball court, a gym, and most importantly, a larger area for our prayers, being here in this room today makes me believe that we can soon make this dream into a reality. I sincerely thank you for listening to me today.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker, Sharel.
Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be upon you. My name is Shalvati. I've been teacher assistant at William Floyd Elementary School for almost 12 years. I'm also a building representative of William Floyd School District Board of Education. Importantly, I'm a mother, a wife, a daughter, and a sister to my community. In the 12 years that I have worked at William Floyd School District, I have witnessed the Muslim population grow and flourish with students and families coming from around the globe. Their family roots trace back to Africa, Afghanistan, Peru, Trinidad, Nigeria, Ecuador, Morocco, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and many more who are proud Americans and looking to find a community who understands them. The new mosque is so critical for our children, these students, their parents, and families. But as it stands, we do not have a facility or space to have a community center that meets their needs. We have tried to renovate many times, but unfortunately we weren't successful. We have done everything to allow to enhance the ladies section, but it's still far from comfortable. There are many young ladies who want to come and attend the services at the mosque, like the prayers. But due to the flooding and many other issues, the ladies section is not ideal and is very small. The mosque is a place of worship, and we should be comfortable and able to learn how to worship properly. The discomfort and multiply because usually young children occupy their mothers with the ladies section, and there simply isn't enough space for them to play and enjoy without impacting those who are trying to pray with sincerity and concentrate due to the noises. We seek a place for our children to play, make friends, and enjoy crafts and grow with community without mothers.
Hold on one moment. Guys in the back, if you could keep it down, please. Go outside. Thank you. I'm sorry, man.
That's okay. We seek a place where our children can play, make friends, enjoy crafts, and grow our community without mothers constantly worried about their children, making too much noise and disrupting others who are praying. We also need a comfortable space where students can come to Sunday school to learn about their religion, Bible prayers, community service, and get help with school as well. As it stands, sometimes it's too cold for students to be in the ladies sections in the basement during the winter to even have any classes. As our young and growing children deserve a basketball court as a safe and productive outlet for their energy. It is an important opportunity for mentorship and scholarships into colleges for their future. It is also encouraged Islam values of taking care of one's body. We want to have a community center that brings peace, love, and is a second home. We hope for our mosque that makes our hearts at peace. A beautiful place for our marriage services similar to a church. A place for community meals during the month of Ramadan. Overall, we deeply need to support to help us create this peaceful and much-needed space for our community.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Imam, just make sure you pull that up close to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Abdul Latif Poulos. I serve as one of the imams of the mosque, and I'm also a founding member. And I just want to say, if I have to donate some of my time because she run over, that's fine. I'll be quick. I want to thank everybody here for their support, especially Dan. Everyone has been amazing, and the support also from the people behind me. And I am listening to everybody and the concerns that people have. I think I'm the last speaker, by the way. Was anybody after me?
Yes, that's all.
Okay, so I just, want to thank the lady that really, spoke on the Constitution and the right that we have in America to, freedom to practice our religion. And I do hope that will be extended to the freedom to take as long as it takes necessarily to build the structure. I know one of the neighbors had a concern that it might take too long, 7 years or whatever. Trust me, we're hoping that is not the case. If there's anybody that wants to see this built as soon as possible, it's the people who will be saying their prayers in that mosque. So hopefully it will not take as long as she mentioned. I am very happy to be here, although I have to say it's a little bittersweet for
Sir,
me.
Sir, hold on one
Can
second.
I interrupt you for a second?
Guys in the back, please. If you're going to talk, take it outside. There's people that are speaking here, please. Thank you. Sir, whenever you'd like to start up. Thank you. Sorry, I apologize.
It was 24 years ago that a friend of mine by the name of Sharif and I, we wanted to gather some people to say the prayers in Ramadan. That was the year 2001. And although many of us know Ramadan starts in 2025, just maybe about 2 weeks from now, in 2001, it was in November, which was just 2 months after 9/11. And Muslims all over the country were very concerned about how things were going to go, about maybe some backlash or whatever, and we were too. And thank God, from that point on, all the way up to today, it's very little flack. We have nothing but cooperation, support, and everything from the community, from this board here, from the town, and everyone. I say it's bittersweet because as I was preparing to say something today, I got the news on Tuesday that that friend of mine passed away in his home in Virginia. And over the years, I kept in touch with him, and he would always ask what was the progress of the mosque and how things were going. I would let him know. And like I said, I'm very happy that finally we're here, that I'm here before you, that hopefully whatever the problems are, we could iron them out and move forward with this project. And it made me think in closing that a lot of these efforts that we put out, strength and money towards, oftentimes, although our reward, we believe, is with our Lord in the next life, oftentimes the people who reap the benefits are the next generation. And I believe that this mosque will benefit the next generation and the generations to come, both of Muslims and non-Muslims living in the Mastic-Shirley area. So again, my time is up. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you all for your comments. Thank you all. Mr. Supervisor, we have no more cards.
All right, great. We can have the applicant and his representative come back to the table.
Mr. Supervisor, I've brought with me up this time Osmond Barry from Nelson and Pope to address any of the traffic concerns that some of the residents may have. So he's got a report that he would like to give to this board. But before I do that, the first speaker made a comment about the Zoning Board of Appeals. I just wanted to address that very quickly. So and I did the hearing, so I'm very familiar with that application.
Mr. Davis, you mean the second speaker?
I'm sorry?
You mean the second speaker?
Yes, I'm sorry. Sarwar was the first. Yes, that's the second speaker. Thank you. When I brought that application, I believe there was a misconception by the board itself as to what the rear yard and side yard was. As we know, when we have a corner, there's a primary front yard and a secondary front yard. The primary front yard is defined by where the door is opening, going into the main building. The door on this building opens from opposite Tudor Road. So therefore, the rear yard would be the area directly behind the building from Tudor. The zoning board misinterpreted it. They thought the door was on William Floyd Parkway, that would have made the yard, that 25-foot yard, a rear yard rather than a side yard. When the door gets moved, that area becomes a side yard. Under A1 zoning, 25 foot is the necessary side yard, which is what we are holding today. So I hope that answered that question adequately for the board and for the neighbors.
Okay, I fully understand what you're saying. I'm just going to ask our deputy town attorney if what you are saying, and I take everything you say as being true, was what was granted by the BZA at the time of the hearing. So you're saying essentially that your plan is in compliance because the west side of the property is 25 feet, and that complies with the BZA grant impression and also the code on the Town of Brookhaven books as it relates to this application.
That is correct.
I agree with you about what the code says. What the BZA BZA grant says 34 feet. Can you explain that?
I think that was amended.
Okay.
And I believe that is because there was a misinterpretation, and we had follow-up on it, and it was corrected. So that western side is a side yard, not a rear yard, and we meet the rear yard. So, we meet the side yard requirements under A1. So there was really no variance needed under that yard itself because we meet the code. So whether it's at 34 feet or 44 feet, we're in compliance with the code. So there was no variance needed for that particular yard.
Well, the difference would be 34 as to 25, as it relates to the neighbors to the west, which we will, it's easy to call the rear, right? Because those are the only neighbors you have other than real estate to the north.
Correct.
So you said it was corrected. Is there something in the record that either you have, Mr. Hone, or that the law department has vis-a-vis the BZA grant that shows that correction?
I believe my discussion with the law department, and specifically Mr. Doyle after the hearing, was that we'll leave it as it is because you do not need a variance there. Your 25 feet is compliant, and therefore there's no issue. Even though the grant said 34 feet, we did not need a variance on that side yard.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hold that, and then let's move on to the next question with regard to traffic. Osmond's here from Nelson and Pope. He needs to be sworn in.
Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
And just before you speak, just state your name for me.
My name is Osman Barry from Nelson and Pope. Good afternoon, Supervisor Panago and esteemed board members. I'm Osman Barry, a traffic engineer at Nelson and Pope, located at 70 Maxis Road in Melville, New York. With more than 26 years of experience in traffic and transportation engineering, I'm a licensed professional engineer, as well as a certified professional traffic operations engineer and a professional transportation planner. Nelson and Pope has conducted a traffic assessment for this application, and I will be delivering expert testimony on traffic and parking concerns related to this project. The purpose of this study was to review potential traffic impacts and parking issues that may be associated with the proposed project. The Islamic Center serves as a central hub for the Muslim community, providing a place for worship, education, and social gathering. Therefore, understanding the busy operation times of the Islamic Center is crucial to identify potential traffic and parking issues associated with the center. Based on my experience on Islamic centers, Friday prayers are the most significant weekly gatherings. Attendance peaks on Fridays during Ramadan, the month when Muslims fast. It is important to note that these Friday services last about 1 hour, including both arrival and departure from the center. According to this information, the Islamic Center will have peak traffic on just 52 Fridays throughout the 365 days of the year, totaling only 52 hours out of 8,760 hours annually. This amount is approximately 0.6% of the hours in a year. Now, to determine the level of traffic at the existing Islamic Center during these peak times, we conducted observations, traffic and parking counts before, during, and after prayer services on Friday, March 22nd, 2024, between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. during the month of Ramadan, to review traffic flow, circulation within the site, and parking. We also conducted field observations, traffic and parking counts during and after prayers on Friday, April 19th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. outside the month of Ramadan. We did that because we want to determine the traffic pattern when it's peak in Ramadan and the traffic pattern on other Fridays outside Ramadan. We also collected traffic volumes along William Floyd Parkway in the vicinity of the Islamic Center during the month of Ramadan for a period of 7 days. Based on the review of the data, the following was observed.
The average daily traffic volumes on William Floyd Parkway is around 37,500 vehicles per day. The existing Islamic Center generates just 95 trips on Friday during Ramadan, its busiest month, peaking for just 1 hour between 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. for 4 Fridays in a year, totaling 4 hours annually. Outside of Ramadan, it generates only 57 trips on the remaining 48 Fridays of the year. I would like you to know the current center located at 530 William Floyd Parkway will relocate to the new facility upon completion. And the same congregants who are residents of this area will be the one using the new center. Therefore, the new Islamic Center is not expected to generate additional traffic or significantly impact nearby roadways. So by this I mean, the people who use the masjid, they live in the area. They are already using William Floyd Parkway. They are already in the traffic stream. So building the new masjid is not bringing new traffic. It's just the people who already live there. So there's not going to be any additional traffic impact on William Floyd and the neighboring roadways. However, we did do a conservative analysis assuming that the new center will generate traffic that's new, just to see what happens. This masjid is designed for 268 individuals, which will generate 94 vehicles during the peak. Assuming all these congregants arrive and depart within the same hour on a busy Friday, the Islamic Center will generate only 188 trips during the peak Ramadan hours. The surrounding roadways, including William Floyd Parkway, can accommodate this traffic increase without significant impact, likely going unnoticed to drivers. So based on the findings of my traffic assessment, we believe the proposed Islamic Center will not have a significant impact on traffic flow on William Floyd Parkway and the nearby roadways. Okay, now going for parking. According to the Town of Brookhaven Code, the proposed Islamic Center will need only 84 parking, like they said, like they mentioned, 84, 86 parking spaces. The plan shows that 124 parking stalls will be available, which meets and exceeds the town's requirement. Therefore, the actual parking requirement stays at 90 spaces and no parking variance is necessary. To further support the adequacy of the parking spaces provided, the parking data observed from the existing center was reviewed. The peak parking demand for the existing Islamic Center reached 78 vehicles on the busiest Friday during Ramadan and 47 vehicles on the peak Friday outside of Ramadan. This demonstrates that there is adequate parking to support the current Islamic Center. Given this information, we believe the 124 parking spaces provided are sufficient to meet the center's parking needs in accordance with code requirement, and thus no parking variance is needed. Therefore, I recommend approving this application. To add to my presentation, I just want to mention that additionally, I'm a resident of Shirley. I've lived in Shirley for 19 years. I live a couple of blocks from where the center is. The proximity has given me deep understanding of the local area and its traffic conditions. I recognize that any traffic impacts from this Islamic Center will also affect me. However, based on my experience with similar facilities, I'm confident that this project will have a positive impact on the Mastic-Shirley community. I fully support this initiative. Thank you very much. I may answer any question that the board might have.
Any questions on traffic or parking? All right, and let's talk about the 7-year, which brought up 7-year time frame that I guess residents to the west may potentially have to look at. That is their fear that they talked about seeing an incomplete building for 7 years. What is the time frame in which to break ground? I think I know the answer in conversation, but it's good that the public understands what your plans are. Do you plan on building, a steel shell that they're going to look at while you raise money? If you could elaborate, I think it would be helpful.
Sure. As a lead person that's responsible for fundraising of the center, for all the fundraising efforts, even the purchase of our current building, the purchase of the property, and also the fundraising efforts that we did last Ramadan, every Ramadan we try to raise a significant amount of money, and through the help of technology, that makes it easier for fundraising. So she referenced another mosque that did not leverage the use of online fundraising from broader community beyond Shirley across Long Island. There's donors, Muslim communities that donate, which makes it easier for us to accomplish our goal in the total fundraiser. So we're hoping it won't reach to the 7-year stage the way it did for Medford. We're hoping for it to fully complete within 2 to 2.5 years from start. So if we get the building permit this summer, hopefully, we're trying our best to complete this entire thing A to Z within 2 years and not 7 years.
Going back to Osmond's point, William Floyd Parkway, we all know, has a lot of traffic. The biggest single generator, especially in the summer, is Smith Point County Park. That is the busiest, most visited county park at the southern terminus of William Floyd Parkway. So if you, Madad, if you need, perhaps you could put Larry, your attorney, outside maybe selling lemonade as a means of trying to raise some money. I think he would enjoy that. Okay, let's go back. It's an important point because what we want to do, we want the public to understand, and that goes back to the 34-foot issue, and I'm going to turn it over to our deputy town attorney.
So I was looking at the plan and trying to make sure I got the measurements. So, yes, the code says that when you have a corner lot, as you said, the primary front is where the door faces, which means this orientation, which is not facing north and south, but the north would be the rear yard. Under the town code, I have it open, I'm looking at the attachment, under A1, a rear yard is 60 feet. That is more than 60 feet from the end of the building, which is where the measurement occurs, to, and then, which would then make the west, so the other way would be your side, and your side yard, and looking at the building, the lot line is 25 feet. There apparently was a misunderstanding in the hearing about how it was, but you would be in conformance with the grant anyway because 60 feet, they gave you 30.
Okay, so
but you maintained the 60.
Yes.
You did not move it. You did not take advantage of the 34. So you didn't take advantage of there being a misunderstanding.
That's correct.
So in summary, it's code compliant and it's compliant with the BZA grant?
Yes.
Okay. Would you be, go ahead.
Yeah, just to clarify, the footprint of the building which we presented at BZA is still the same. There has been no change, as somebody mentioned that one. Number one. Number two, I believe I don't have that letter from the BZA. I think some of this is explained in the letter issued by the town BZA. Not this one, there's another letter.
Oh, the longer letter.
Yeah,
okay.
Longer it gives all the explanation, what's front, what's back, this, all the detail is in that letter.
Okay. All right, does anyone have any other questions or comments? I just want to say, and it was touched upon by two residents, the community of Mastic-Shirley and Mastic Beach, the community in which I grew up, is a community of caring people who accept others who may not be like them. What was written on social media, which unfortunately has become just a place where people feel able to bully others, to spew hatred. And, a lot of people hide behind the First Amendment, and that is their right of free speech. Doesn't necessarily make it right, but the comments that were, namely, I saw it on other social media, but namely on Facebook, are not dispositive in any way, shape, or manner of the good people who live in the Tri-Hamlet community or the people who came to testify today and give their comments about this hearing. And I know that I speak for the entire town board and the entirety of Brookhaven Town that Brookhaven is a welcoming place that does not accept hatred and bigotry at all. So thank you very much for your presentation. Do we have a motion?
Motion for a negative secret declaration. Motion to close the public hearing.
I will second that. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to accept the secret?
Motion to accept a negative secret declaration.
I will second that. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Now may I have a motion to approve or deny?
A motion to approve staff recommendations numbers 1 through 6, along with variance variances 85-843A, 85-843A4, 85-843B1, 85-855 as covenants and conditions of the approval. So moved.
And I will second that.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all very much.
Good luck. That brings us up to public hearing number 4, which is a planning board public hearing to consider a preliminary subdivision known as Evergreen Farm Estates at East Mauritius, located at the southwest corner of Evergreen Avenue and Woodlawn Avenue in East Mauritius. And our planning department, Don Ho, will be here. But maybe Don, just give it 1 second until everybody gets it. We kind of get everybody out of the auditorium.
I thought they were staying for me.
You can stay for the whole thing, yeah.
Oh, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you go, if you could please make your way out quietly as we can move on with our hearings today. I apologize. Give us one more minute as we're getting everybody out of here. All right, I think we're just about ready to go. Don, if you want to start, I think it'll quiet down enough for us here. Sure. So whenever you're ready.
This is an application known as Evergreen Farm Estates in East Mauritius. It is the southwest corner of Evergreen Avenue and Woodlawn Avenue in East Mauritius. It is 12.61 acres, zoned A residential 1. The proposal is a preliminary subdivision to divide the existing parcel into 10 lots. This subdivision went through a few iterations before landing at this current clustered plan. According to the yields of this property, they did submit a yield map. Of course, according to the yield of the property, they would total 10 lots with a improved road that would be dedicated to the town. Rather than this configuration, the town as well as the developer thought it would be better served as a cluster subdivision, which would result in all of the houses having frontage on Evergreen Avenue except for one parcel here having frontage on Woodlawn. And the rest of this back area would be utilized as stormwater recharge, and it would take recharge from not only the surrounding roadways but also the lots themselves. This property is currently a farm. It is covered by weed barrier for the most part. In the south corner of this property, there is a low-lying wet area